Hello there, everybody. Cheddar Takusuki here, and today I'm going to be reading I'll Take Care of You. Band-Aid Sumoda. I don't know how to say their ship name. Fluff by Iki Katsune. This is a Ibuki Miura X Sumiki Mikan ship. Or Mikan Sumiki, however you like it pronounced. But basically, it's just a cute little thing. Also, there is minor Kazuichi X Gundam. Ibuki and Kazuichi are friends. Ibuki Miura and Gundam are siblings in this AU. So, yeah. Summary. Ibuki gets hurt by being an idiot, and Mikan takes care of her. Also, some beautiful Soda Gundam, X Gundam will be mentioned. Ibuki lay in the infirmary of her school, with her brother sitting in a chair beside her. Akane had suggested that Nekomaru threw tennis balls at them, and they had to dodge them. Akane was doing fine since she and Nekomaru had done this quite often, but Ibuki wasn't the most athletic. She ended up getting hit directly in her forehead. Her head had been pounding for almost an hour now, and a large bump had formed. Ibuki groaned in pain as she moved herself on her side. Gundam looked at her with a stern face. "Stay on your back, you mortal." Ibuki looked up at him. "But it's uncomfy!" Gundam just looked at her, his face buried in his scarf. He just stared back blankly, trying to figure out what emotion he was showing. Ibuki averted his gaze, her gaze, finding nothing but worry and irritation on his face. "Don't you have a date with Soda?" Gundam blinked suddenly, and looked at one of his hamsters. "Do I?" He looked back down at Ibuki. "I must go. You must be awaiting me." Gundam stood up and left for the door. "Get better soon, mortal." Ibuki smiled. "Thanks, bro." And with that, Gundam left. Now alone, Ibuki turned back onto her back and stared at the ceiling. She put a hand on her throbbing head softly. Ibuki made shapes with the lines on the ceilings, making out dogs, flowers, birds, disordered monsters, whatever came to her brain. Her eyes bounced around from ceiling piece to ceiling piece, examining each and every one to find some sort of object there. "Jeez," she said, suddenly breaking the silence of the room. Ibuki was aggravated that she was missing out on spying her brother and his boyfriend, but Mikan had said she had to lay down and relax. Ibuki heard light and quickened footsteps approaching the door. She didn't panic. She could tell who it was just by the pace of the feet. It was Mikan. She had left a good 10 minutes ago to grab some ice from the ice machine near the lunchroom. More footsteps. A small shriek, and a sigh of relief, is what Ibuki heard right next to the door. When it opened, a panic-struck Mikan rushed in. "I'm sorry I was late. Some other students wanted some ice too, so I had to wait. Please forgive me." Ibuki tried to chuckle without making her head hurt, but she failed, earning a sharp pain in her head that hit her like a truck. "Ugh, it's fine, Mikan." Can Ibuki just have the ice, please? Mikan scooped out some ice slightly, dumping it into a sandwich bag. Do you want me to put a small towel over it? Ibuki smiled. Sure, thanks, Miki. Mikan nodded meekly and wrapped the ice bag up with a small white towel. Then shakily handed it to Ibuki. Here, sorry for the wait. Ibuki shook her head and smiled lightly, taking the bag and putting it on her head. Ibuki said it's fine. Please stop worrying, you pretty little head about it. Mikan blushed slightly. Okay. Mikan had sat down in a chair Gundam was previously, and nervously twiddled her thumbs. Ibuki closed her eyes and thought of the nurse beside her. She smiled softly and hummed. Mikan became less tense, feeling the comforting atmosphere Ibuki had created, with nothing but a smile. Are you doing okay, Ibuki? Ibuki opened her eyes and looked at the purple head, giving her a thumbs up. Uh-huh, Ibuki is A-okay. The rock star closed her eyes again and sighed. Ibuki's head just hurts a little, but Ibuki will be okay. Mikan tensed up again. I'm sorry. I probably did something wrong, didn't I? No, you didn't. Calm down, Miki. Ibuki shifted the ice bag on her head, slightly making it more comfortable. You've done nothing but help. Ibuki appreciates you for helping her. Mikan relaxed greatly, her shoulders going down gently, and a small smile came onto her face. If you say so. A few hours passed by. Mikan and Ibuki had been in a comfortable silence, and Ibuki had fell asleep a while ago. And Mikan was just trying her best to keep her eyes open, but failing miserably. Mikan's eyes closed and she slipped into a dark sleep. A loud slam awoke them both, and they both screamed. Kazuichi had barged into the room in a panic, and ran over to Ibuki's bedside, opposite from Mikan. Ibuki, are you okay? The rockstar groaned and blinked a few times to the light. Kazuichi? What the hell are you doing here? Mikan had started crying from the shock and sudden noises. Kazuichi put a hand on her head and she winced. He immediately pulled back. Oh, sorry, I didn't know you were hurt there. Ibuki smiled softly and giggled. It's fine, Kazu. Ibuki just needs to rest for now. Kokichi nodded. Not Kokichi. Oh my god. Kazuichi nodded and backed away from the bed. I'll leave you two to it then. He takes a look at the crying Mikan and winces. Oh, sorry, Mikan. Then Kazuichi walks out of the room. You should probably lay back down. Sorry, I don't mean to be bossy. Mikan kept crying, and Ibuki looked at her with a smile. Okay, doctor's orders. She closed her eyes and sighed in content. Night, Miki. Mikan sniffed. Good night. Well, that was